From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big early morning of Mornings LA with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In today's recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check that will likely give you more months of checks from those Democrats. Then we turn to the recon. $3.5 trillion of checks for you have been agreed upon. I'll go over who's getting what types of checks in addition to the issue of stimulus checks and what is in that $3.5 trillion payout to the American people. It's incredible great news. Then we turn to the voting, the bills, the drafts, everything you need to know what's happening on Tuesday, what's not happening on Tuesday. I'll explain all the details in this video. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raise your benefits up a lifetime as the president had promised, including my SSI and VA veterans, and then finally the big money that viewers continue to get. Across the board, $10,000 to $20,000. I'll show you how to get that as well. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here. Let's get to the deliciousness of early mornings LA, starting right now. Congratulations, a new week upon us, and the deliciousness of early mornings with you. How are you? Did you have a great weekend and you're ready for a big, bold, new, exciting final 14 days? It's going to get heated up. But how's the weather where you are? Hope it's not too hot. It got cool here. Finally got cool here in Southern California and Santa Monica. The onshore breeze is perfect. The sun not too strong, although Saturday was sort of strong. But tell me how the weather is where you are. Jump on the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from. In this fourth stimulus check update, 3 parts. First part, we'll be going over those monthly checks, why you're likely to get more months. Then we'll go over the $3.5 trillion of checks additionally for you. And who's getting these checks? All of you are. But what are they for? It's getting very exciting. And then we turn to the vote, the bill, the dates, everything you need to know about the two-path process. Then we turn to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. And then we turn to the big money that viewers continue to get, like $23,000 that Nisi got from the channel. This is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. Right after the time of this video, you'll go right into Overnight's Crypto live on air. Then at Mornings LA at 9 a.m. live, direct from Santa Monica. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers for YouTube record. I want you to hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and every like helps, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fourth stimulus check starting right now. The weekend ended differently in Los Angeles than it was a week before. Why? Because the mask mandate of 2020 is back. LA County was the first to put masks on in 2020, and last week, LA County was the first to put them back on again. Our mask mandate is back because they say the pandemic's not over. Pandemic plus 1 year, that's the House bill from Jalapal, monthly stimulus checks, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate proposal, July to December. Let's compare the payouts. The payouts are slightly different. House, $1,000 after the first month of $2,000. Senate amount unknown, but word on the street is this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Now that most people agree that the pandemic's not over, the House bills clearly would likely pay pandemic plus 1 year, as it's written. Pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus checks would be more than $13,000 and more than 12 checks. So let's compare that to this and the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now. Vote House or Senate. House or Senate on this early morning's broadcast. Vote House or Senate and tell me where you're tuning in from. And how's the weather? Boy, things are changing as we start a big, bold week. Well, who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent that if you got a third, you get a fourth. Think single individual, $75,000 less, you get a fourth stimulus check. Democrats represent. Married couple, $150,000 less. Democrats represent. You get a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of 4, Democrats represent, you get a 4 stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans, you get a 4 stimulus check as well. The 4 stimulus check is not income, it's not taxable. It would be the same check for everyone, yes. And the 4 stimulus check would not come in waves. So if you do see the check outside of the casino tonight and he's double fisting the Mitch lobster drink and he's sort of getting a little wavy about it, don't try to wave at the check. He'll see 2 versions of you. He'll see multiple you. Multiple stimulus you. So don't do that. Hey, check, how you doing? I told you not to do that. Hey, check, how you doing? Oh, and then he fell out. Yeah, he'll just conk out. The 4 stimulus check will come in the month of July for the month of July. The Democrats represent. In the month of August for the month of August they represent. In the second part of this video, we'll be going over the $35 billion. I'm just butchering it. The $3.5 trillion for stimulus recon that has $3.5 trillion of checks for you. I can't even say it because there's so much money. Lots of checks. I'll go over some of those checks for you. In the third part of this video, we go over the voting process, the bills, the dates, everything you need to know. It's getting very exciting. But here's a preview of the second half of this video. It's for stimulus. And this is what the president promised you on the campaign trail. It raises your benefits up. I'll explain how much they're going up. It's all breaking on this early morning's broadcast. But let's get some money. You have been killing it. I'm so proud of you. Jump in the live chat right now and post if you got rent, utilities, internet, SNAP, or similar. When I started recording these videos just a few weeks ago, I said I can get you about $5,000 of rent. Viewers are getting now $20,000 of rent, like Nisi, who got $23,000 for this channel. When I talked about utilities, I said I could get you a couple $100 for utilities. Viewers are getting $3,000 for my utilities, for utilities for my videos. When I talked about SNAP, I said, hey, I can get you about $5,000 to $6,000 SNAP. Viewers are now getting $12,000 for SNAP, like John for a family of 4. And now viewers are getting multiple items, like Art Sullivan, who's getting 3 items. Get that pen and paper ready because I'm going to go over the big monies you can get right now. What's going on? This is what we do on this channel. This is not a check tracking channel. When. I don't do that on this channel. I get people money. When I launched this channel, EIDL loans and EIDL grants were not coming. We weren't going to sit back and say when. They were never going to come until I stepped in and I got viewers $25 million of EIDL loans approved. Until then, there was nothing to track. And then in fall 2020, we weren't seeing a second stimulus check going out. It wasn't there to track. I got viewers that said $250,000 of rent. Money is money, and I got Tyrone money for his rent paid all the way up to the spring. $15,000, family 4 out of Boston. But now we're doing it the same way again. So get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to go over different places you can get pots of money. We're going to go over rent, which is about $5,000 at least, utilities, SNAP, and also homeowners utilities. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. Also, don't not apply because you think you don't qualify. Each place just apply. If you get a no, go out to the next. They all have different eligibility. Are you ready? You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, your county house authority, your state hall, your state house authority. Keywords, as viewers have told me, I've been critical in approval, is rent assistance because of COVID, rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus, or Mitch's time appearing on Star Search. They don't know that. They don't want to know that. They don't really want to even hear it. And congratulations, Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful pot of money. And if you got rent as well, post in the live chat right now. The next pot of the money is SNAP. And yes, John got either $10,000 or $12,000 for his family of 4. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. What is SNAP? It's money for food. It pays a fortune. Why? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. Wow. How much does it pay? $16,000 for family foreign boss in Hawaii. OMG. Reach out to Department of Agriculture to get SNAP. And there you go. If you've gotten any of these sums of money, post them in the live chat right now. Post your rent, post your SNAP. Why? 3 things happen from it. 3 wonderful benefits. Number 1, it inspires people who haven't gotten it to go get it. They realize, wait a second, there's all these people getting it. I will go get it. Number 2, it inspires people who got one item to go get the other items. We'll see Art Sullivan getting 3 items. They say, hey, I'll get 3. I only got 1. I'll go get those other ones now. And then it updates people about the numbers. You see the numbers, and suddenly you realize 13,000, I thought it was 3,000. 18,000, I thought it was 2,000. And there you go. You're killing. We're only 10 minutes into the video, and we've gotten $16,000 for SNAP for Family 4 in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent, and here we go. The next pot of the money is coming back from your states. One viewer got $3,000 from this. Another viewer got $5,000. What is this? This is the refund check due to overpayment of unemployment benefits due to computer error. It's landing direct deposit to your account, but can you track it? Yeah, call up your state and say, hey, state, can you track that check due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And finally, the wonderful pot of money that's coming back from IRS. That's the refund check of unemployment benefits. Margaret got it, Con got it, Michael got it. But if you haven't gotten it, do not worry. We have an update from IRS. The update is there's another round going out. That latest round started July 4th for direct deposit, and for paper checks on July 16th. There'll be a new round every week throughout the summer. The latest round is paying $1,265. OMG. So how much, where, and when? Let's go over all the details. First, let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of total taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you came back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit in the mail. Can you track it? Yeah. Go to iris.gov and do a transcript search. It'll reveal stuff you never knew. It'll reveal some stuff you never wanted to know. It'll reveal some stuff that you hope no one else sees. It'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid. It'll reveal, what was Mitch's song when he performed on Star Search? And it'll reveal the tax refund check you're getting. Wow, and the date. Can we top that? We can, as we go into the second part of your fourth stimulus check update 2021, starting right now. Deal. Done. $3.5 trillion for stimulus recon, your checks. So we have a deal. We have a deal on the price tag of the recon that the American people will get $3.5 trillion on the fourth stimulus recon of checks of all various types. Those types of checks are coming up later in this video. This is in addition to the stimulus coverage of stimulus checks in this video. So there's lots of checks for lots of people. That massive deal was formulated because of Bernie Sanders and others. Sanders wanted $7 trillion, but he said $3.5 trillion is historic. More about that price tag in a little bit and the vote on that price tag. But how do we get to the spot? We got to the spot by taking roads and bridges out of the recon. Initially, we had this enormous recon that had roads and bridges in there. Too big. They had to take roads and bridges out, and it shrunk the recon and then made the recon passable. Well, it's now been passed on the price tag of $3.5 trillion. That confirmation came from a conservative publications op-ed. The writer wrote much of what I'm reporting. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass, obviously. Confirmation now. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon and put in the bipartisan roads and bridges, the price tag of the recon got smaller. There you go. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Sorry to set you up, Mitch. Now, this is how time has changed. A week ago, it looked like it was a setup for Mitch, but now Mitch is ecstatic. Republicans are ecstatic. They love the bipartisan. They love it. Mitch has blessed it. The Republicans are going to get it done. And away we go. Now, in shrinking that recon smaller, the progressives were then able to add some stuff in there to get to a price tag that they're happy with. And they asked for a big price tag, and they got it with a deal of $3.5 trillion. And in trying to get that big price tag of $3.5 trillion, this is what they were saying going into that. We had a commitment that regardless of what happens to the bipartisan, we will get a recon that goes as far as we want it, says Representative Ilhan Omar. There she goes. She got $3.5 trillion. And Representative Rishi Torres said, I will refuse to vote for a bipartisan unless the recon was large enough. And he got it, $3.5 trillion. And then we had the Progressive Caucus meeting daily with the president about that price tag, $3.5 trillion. There you go. How did they get this? By protecting the recon, as Jalapal and also Brian Schatz, Democrat out of Hawaii, had said. They had considered, the White House had told him that they considered the progressive priorities in the fourth stimulus recon his own priorities. Now, here's what you need to know is what is a recon? A recon stands for reconciliation. It's a bill. And while there's a recon substantive procedural bill, I'm not going to cover that in this video. I'm just covering the substantive bill. The recon substantive bill is just checks. It's social welfare checks for various different types of people and scenarios. Lots of checks for lots of different people. And who writes this? The House subcommittees, lead writers, with the Senate subcommittees overseeing their shoulder. How do they write it? Well, under the Constitution establishes different subject matters for different subcommittees. The House Ways and Means Subcommittee is responsible for the subject of stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. While they're writing it, while they're editing, while they're adding and subtracting, while they're voting, they don't have to show you what they're doing. There's no constitutional requirement of transparency. They can choose to show you, but they don't have to show you. There is no constitutional requirement of transparency. When they're done, let's say there's 10 subcommittees with 10 pages they wrote, they send them up to Chuck or Nancy. Let's say it's Chuck, and Chuck combines 10 of 10, which is 100 pages, and puts an S on it. Senate bill, done. At that point, you see the recon, but before that, you don't. And much like a pop singer's album that she's working on, and she has songs on the album, doesn't want you to see the songs until the album's release, you won't see what's in that recon until it's released. It's been confirmed by me, it's been confirmed by mainstream media, which says we haven't seen the recon because they're not showing it to us. This is an important distinction. We don't see the recon because it's not shown to us. So at no time or place is there room or place or appropriateness for someone to jump in the comments and say, it's not in there because I haven't heard. That is one of the most annoying expressions ever, because that's not what's going on. It's not that you haven't heard of it, hence it doesn't exist. It's that they haven't told us, and hence they're keeping it quiet till it's done. Somewhere along the line, someone has started this horrible expression that says, unless you hear it, it doesn't exist. I haven't gone to outer space. I haven't seen it, so I guess it doesn't exist. There you go. We get to this wonderful spot. We got to this wonderful spot from Jalopal. Jalopal had written a letter to Schumer saying, Chuck called the vote. The letter was signed by 12 senators who are among the 100 plus congressional leaders who had written the president a letter saying, we're going to put monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Wow, can we top that? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee, yes, that same one, wrote Schumer a letter saying, wrote the president a letter saying, hey, Mr. President, we're going to put monthly stimulus checks in the forced stimulus recon. OMG. Now, this is a subcommittee that's responsible for multiple stimulus checks, and they claim they put them in there. Let's hold them to their promise. They also wrote your 3rd stimulus, and they represent they're doing your 5th stimulus as well. That's coming up later in this video. Can we top that? We can. As the president has now gotten his agreement about taxes. About 4 weeks ago, the president went overseas internationally to have a ceremonial signature about this. That was only ceremonial. The official signature came just days ago. It's now law, international law, the global minimum corporate tax rate minimum. If that sounds like it's confusing to say or hard to say in one breath, it is. And guess what? That's why it helps the recon, because they don't have to put that horribly confusing thing in there. The forced stimulus recon is now easier to pass because that confusing thing is not in there. It's easier to call for a vote because that ridiculously confusing thing is not in there. It's easier to vote on it. And it's easier to pass. And there you go. And that is your second of 3 parts of your forced stimulus check update. Can we top that? We can. In the third part, we go over the exciting details of the $3.5 trillion of checks for you in forced stimulus recon. I'll go over a preview of some of the other items that are in there. We'll go over the votes this week. We'll go over everything you need to know about the bipartisan and the recon, the votes, the bills, and the dates. It's getting very exciting. We also cut to 5th stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. But boy, can we top that? We can. It's the volunteers. If you've had problems finding rent, utilities, or internet, don't worry, because I got your back. And viewers got your back as well. Which viewers? The volunteers. Go into the description of this video and open the description. In the description, you'll see an emoji of a house. Click on that emoji. It'll send you to the community page. On the community page, you'll see a link to the volunteers. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can reach out to them for rent, utilities, internet, and more. And coming up in the second half of this video, a surprise personal announcement. It's in the final 15 minutes. Don't miss this big personal announcement. You don't want to miss it. It's coming up after the final 15 of your fourth stimulus, right after this commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues on this big early mornings LA broadcast, starting right here, right now. In the second part of this video, we'll go over that fourth stimulus and the exciting details of the $3.5 trillion of checks for you in this fourth stimulus recon. We'll cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime, and then we'll go to a personal message from me to you. But first, subscribe. This is LA, and boy, what a day it is going to be. Hit that subscribe button right now. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. Also, like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. After this video, stay here. I'll automatically take you into Overnight's Crypto. Coming up next is the 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time live broadcast of Mornings LA. Boy, what a day it is, because fifth stimulus is really heating up. Fifth stimulus was what was promised to you by the president when running for presidency. He promised this SSI reform, but he didn't deliver it. And so what happened? Well, a series of congressional leaders said, you promised it, you didn't deliver it, and we're going to do it for the American people. What are they going to do? This SSI and SSDI reform in fifth stimulus this fall to a vote by about October, November. Raising your benefit limits up, then applying an inflationary benchmark, removing the asset limit, removing the income exclusion, and removing the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this works across the board. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. That new benchmark is inflation. And that benchmark will be applied at the end of the year right after they pass this. It'll be for next year's benefits. And inflation's going up. But how much? Well, Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve this last week, testified on Capitol Hill the same as he did the month before and said inflation has reached its highest point in the end of the year. Yes, this is what he calls temporary or transitory inflation, where it spikes up and then comes back down next year. This is huge because that's when they apply your benchmark. Oh my goodness. So how high will the inflation rate go? Last week, Wall Street was saying, my number, 5% inflation, temporary, transitory, around December. OMG. How does this work? First, they'll raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply that inflationary benchmark. Let's say it's 5%. Your benefits will go up 5%. Not just next year, lifetime. Wow. Then after that, your benefits will be will stay at 5% at lifetime, at least. If the year after that, the inflation rate is 2%, then you'll be a +2, +5%. Wow, that's wonderful news. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to have a taco and some stimulus checks in your hand. They're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to end. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You no longer fear loss of benefits and no longer be penalized. It's not retroactive, but viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married. There you go. So that is fifth stimulus. Yes, those House Ways and Means subcommittee members represent, they're putting a monthly stimulus check in the fifth stimulus package. A stimulus check. We don't know if it's monthly yet. We do not know when or where it would go out, but it would not overlap before stimulus. Additionally, the president has dedicated $1 billion to the Social Security Administration, $5 billion actually, to ensure that money goes out on time. Great news there as well. And then finally, if you're missing a first, second, or third stimulus check, you need to do two things. You must file a tax return, and you must request it on the tax return. If you haven't done both, reach out to a tax preparer. So there you go. Finally, if you're watching this video and you're noticing, wait a second, there's a lot of people in the live chat with an emoji of a purple hawk. How do I get that? Go into the description where it says, join here. Under the video, it says join here. At the top of the chat, it says become a member. By becoming a member, you get access to all the big money under third, fourth, and fifth stimulus. Remember, when second stimulus is passed, and it was $600, I said, hey, $600, I'll get you $6,000. I got viewers, $15,000. When third stimulus passed, it was $1,400. I said, I'll get you $1,400. Forget the $1,400. I'll get you $14,000. Well, I'm now getting viewers $23,000. And I'll be doing that as well for you under fifth stimulus, when $3.5 trillion of money is sent out to the American people. So consider becoming a member. The link's there, and that gives you the opportunity to get delivered to you daily from me, handwritten, all the big monies on the third stimulus for you to get. And there you go. And can we top that? Yes, as we go into the final 15 of fourth stimulus, starting right now, right this early morning. So fourth stimulus, final 15, has so much going on. Number one, now that we have the two items separated, we have recon and we have bipartisan separated, what do you need to know? Let's start with recon, then we'll go to bipartisan, and then we'll go back to recon. First, the recon has a major deal already done. It's the price tag. Let me go over the significance of the deal and then the significance of the price. First, the significance of the deal. By agreeing to the price tag and delivering that agreement, that makes the remainder of the work on the recon very quick and easy, says Tim Kaine. The number on the price tag of the whole bill is usually the hardest contention, but this was a groundbreaking achievement. It's not required by bill vote. It's done by the senators in the Democratic caucus meeting saying, do you agree upon a number? And they did. Number two, the number is a huge historic achievement, says Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders went into the meeting asking for $7 trillion, but he came out ecstatic at $3.5 trillion. He says the $3.5 trillion achieves everything he wants just in a shorter period of time. Progressives called it a historic day in the U.S. government. Moderate Democrats loved it as well. $3.5 trillion is a fortune. And here's what you need to remember, is the $3.5 trillion of the recon is only checks. It's only checks for various things for you. Recon is just checks on top of checks for things for you of various natures. And at a price tag of 3.5, they got a lot of stuff able to be done. There is food, school, meals, checks for all. There's tax break checks as well. What's going on? Well, as I explained to you earlier in this video, just like a pop singer who doesn't want to show you the songs on her album until it's released officially, the Democrats don't want you to see what's in the recon. So we do not have what's in the recon released publicly yet. But a conservative publication ran some of the items in the recon as an article because they wanted to sort of trash talk the recon. As a result, I have for you some of the items with checks in the recon, just not all of them. So yes, free school meal checks for all. Tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, immigration reform checks, greener farming checks, money for elections checks, internet checks. Yes, they're going to give fortunes to local cities so they can have their own internet companies. Lots of checks for clean energy, checks for laborers, checks for workers, checks for independent contractors, and checks for seniors, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing aid. Wow, now that's wonderful. Let's cut over to bipartisan. Now, the bipartisan group going into Thursday said, hey, we're going to agree upon the deal provisions of what's in the bipartisan by about Thursday. This is huge because they said, hey, once we agree upon which road and bridge, all we have to do is write it in the bill format and we can get it done really quickly. And who's saying this? Mitt Romney, who I have faith in him because he writes a lot. If you've been with me for over the last year, I have had enough jokes about the Romney plan. There's a Romney plan about everything. There's a Romney plan about the surfboard. There's a Romney plan about the flowers. There's a Romney plan about my black shirt. He just writes Romney plans every 10 seconds. He just writes really fast. And under second stimulus, he got things done very, very fast. He's one of the fastest moving people I've ever seen among legislators. He just moves very quickly. So what did he say? And what did the rest of them say? They say that they think that the vote on the bipartisan bill will be this week. Do I agree? No. I think it's going to be next week. That's what mainstream media is saying, that we think it's both next week. But that's great news for the recon. Why? Because the recon gets voted on before the bipartisan. Yes, remember, the recon has to be voted on before the bipartisan, if not contemporary, but at least before, because that's the only way you pass it. That means that, yes, the recon could go to a vote this week. OMG. That's very exciting. Now, here's what you also need to know about what Mitt Romney said. That he knows that the Congressional Budget Office, CBO, will be releasing its scorecard on his bipartisan this week, but he's not worried about it. That scorecard basically says how much debt are you adding to the national debt with this proposal. And he says, I'm not worried about it. As a person who deals with money and finance as a former head of Bain Capital, Mitt Romney knows what he's talking about. He also knows his Republicans, and he says the Republicans are not worried about that issue of debt. So far, I'm comfortable with what Mitt Romney is saying. Now, what is going on Tuesday? On Tuesday, there's going to be a vote, and it's important for you to know what the vote is for and what the vote is not for. On Tuesday, and I'm going to go very slow. On Tuesday, Chuck Schumer will call a vote to decide the date in which discussion of the bipartisan ends. The vote is not to end discussion of the bipartisan that day. It's just to decide when discussion of the bipartisan is to end in a few days from now. It is not a vote on the bipartisan bill. It's just a vote to end discussion on the bipartisan discussions. And what's important for you to understand is that it is helpful because it's pushing people to get things done. But it's not going to pass. Republicans and Democrats are going to oppose and say, hey, I haven't finished writing the bipartisan bill. Why are you rushing me to stop talking? Why are you calling a vote to say I can't talk about it anymore if I haven't finished the draft of the bill? To which he's going to say, hey, well, get it done. That's why I'm doing it, to get it going. Now, what's important for you and I is that you know what that vote is, what Chuck is doing on Tuesday. Again, he's calling a vote to end the discussion of the bipartisan. But you and I know 100,000%, come Tuesday, there's going to be someone that's going to jump in the comments or the live chat and say, I just heard that Chuck called a vote on a bill and it didn't have a stimulus check in there. He didn't call a vote on a bill. Then there's going to be someone that said, I saw Chuck call a vote on the bipartisan bill and it failed. So I guess we're not getting anything. No, he didn't call a vote on the bipartisan. I heard he called a vote on the recon. No, he didn't call a vote on the recon. I heard he called a vote on something and didn't pass, and hence nothing's happening. No, he didn't do that either. I heard he called a vote, and I heard he didn't mention stimulus check. So hence, we're not getting anything. No, he didn't do that either. It's just, no, that's not what happened. No, that's not what happened. Sorry, that's not what happened. And I just expect that along the way, there's someone, not us, not you, not a member, not a subscriber, that simply, simply wants to destroy the set. That simply wants to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to hear the whole story. I just want to knock over the microphone. It's going to be someone that wants to come in and say, I just heard the word vote. And when I heard the word vote, I didn't hear anything else. So hence the whole world is collapsing. No, just the microphone's collapsing. No, it's just nothing else is collapsing. So I want you to be prepared for that person. And I expect there's going to be more than one of those people. That's the first thing. Second thing is that Mitt Romney has already sort of prepared us for the naysayers of Republicans. Mitt Romney says he expects people to say that Republicans don't want to do things, but he says, my Republican base loves this. They're going to do it. So that's also really wonderful news. All right. So that brings us then to the voting process. 12 steps, not 12 days. 3 bills, 4 votes. We have recon procedural, recon substantive, and bipartisan. Step 1, Senate subcommittee. Step 2, Senate floor. House, then President. Got to do that. Now, here's what you need to know. If you were not with me in December of 2020, things moved very quickly in those final 14 days, which is where we are right now. They moved very quickly. And let me explain how quickly they moved. They had not moved for months, sort of like how we sort of felt like going into about a week ago. They had not moved for months. We had seen the HEROES Act from Nancy Pelosi in spring of 2020, and it just wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't doing anything or going anywhere. And then finally in December, I said, hey, there's a continuing resolution. How about we put a stimulus check in there? People thought I was crazy. Who's that crazy YouTube person saying put a stimulus check in CR? It's to run the government. It's not to have a stimulus check for the American people. It's just running the federal government's budget. I said, I don't care, put it in there. So we pushed. It took about 7 days of pushing. And then suddenly it was in there. No, not stimulus check, stimulus. And we said, wait, they put the wrong thing in there. So we woke up one day saying, oh, there's no stimulus check in there. They put unemployment stimulus in there. Now, at that point, some people are going to cash out and say, oh, I'm done. They didn't take care of us. I told you, they don't care about us. We're never going to get anything. No, we pushed back. We pushed back because how dare they take our idea and then do it wrongly and then give unemployment stimulus, not stimulus checks. So we pushed back, and initially they wanted to give a tiny stimulus check. And then they talked about an enormous stimulus check. Then they talked about a stimulus check that very few people get. And then we pushed back, and finally they agreed upon a stimulus check. And then one night, I can remember where I was when I heard it. Senator Toomey came out of nowhere and said, guess what? I'm about to blow up the whole second stimulus. You're not going to get anything in December. We said, who is this guy? What are you doing? We've had all this work. You're going to blow it up and you're going to kill it all? And for about 8 hours, it looked like that. And guess who calmed him down? Mitt Romney, actually. So it's important to understand that things change very quickly in these final days. They really change. So at no time should you think that the fate and the coffin is closed. Should you sit in there and say, I told you so, or I don't expect, or what do you think, or what do you think? You should not be doing the when game, which I can't stand. When. You should be pushing now. As WR did 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. He picked up the phone and called Chris Coons, his senator out of Delaware, and said, I need stimulus checks. I'm going to tell you why I need them. I'll tell you what's going on in my life or my family's life or my business. I'll tell you why I need it. Professionally, respectfully, very kind. And the response was, yeah, Senator Coons is putting it in there. That's the push of the purple power. So as we go into this new week, fully expect that on Tuesday you're going to have a lot of people simply, they do not care to hear what the story is, and they're going to hear something about vote. It's not going to pass, and then they're going to think they told you something you never knew. Don't you hate that? Don't you hate when people don't know anything and suddenly they claim to be the knowledge of everything? Educate them. And so if you see that negative or uninformed comment, respond back to them with what the facts are. Number 2, Wednesday, Chuck is talking about the recon as well. He ain't calling a vote on it. He is working on the recon on Wednesday, but he's not calling a vote on that as well. And I have seen people already say, he's calling a vote on the recon on Wednesday. He's not calling a vote on the recon on Wednesday. Finally, a personal message. The spirit of this channel is a lot. It's a lot of love, and it's a lot of helping one another. I really appreciate all the comments by people on afternoons in LA and evenings in LA, where someone jumps in the live chat and all they want to do is, it's sort of like they want to come in there and take a an old 1960 car that hasn't fixed the carburetor and just blow a lot of gas fumes in the room. It's like a dragon that wants to come in and just sort of blow some propane in the room, and just, okay, can you just back up? We're having a very nice chat, nice bunch of people and Purple Power in here, and there's some negative energy that sort of comes into the room. Understand, if you see that, really push back, because this is not the time and place for that negative energy. It never has been, never will be, and never has. And here's an example of why it isn't. Sirloin was a character which sort of came out of nowhere, and in earlier this year, I brought him back, and I ran him for several weeks, and I was exhausted by the negativity of some comments that by people said, "I can't stand Sirloin." Can you imagine? It's a comedy video. Just tell me when, where, and when am I getting my check? I couldn't stand it. I hated it. And that's why I took Sirloin off air, because I couldn't stand the negativity about a comedy video. I mean, if you can't laugh, and there were comments where people said something like, "No one should be laughing. You should all be crying." Trust me, I can do horror videos if you want. You should all be crying. There's nothing funny about this. And so I took him off air. Well, along the way, suddenly on one of the videos one night, late at night, someone jumped in the live chat and said, "LALATE, my name is the real Chatster. Can you bring back Sirloin?" I said, "Why?" I mean, he was not the first person to ask for Sirloin back. There was certainly a lot of them, tons of them, hundreds of them. But his comment resonated. I said, "Why? What's the issue?" "My father, he's in stage 3 cancer. And Sirloin is the only thing that would ever make him smile. And he's not in a comfortable position, but when he sees Sirloin, he sort of lights up." I said, "Okay, I'll bring him back." And so I brought him back, and he said in another comment a few days later that his father was smiling for the first time in many, many weeks, watching Sirloin. Now, I couldn't find the real Chatster because I couldn't remember if the name was Chad or Chadster or the Chatster or the real Chatster. So I asked viewers, "Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? I can't find him." So finally I found him. And one of the chats I said 2 nights ago, I said, "What's going on? How are you?" He said, "Great. Thank you for bringing back Sirloin. My father loves it. He's now smiling. We haven't seen him smile in a long time." Wonderful. And then last night, the major update. He said his father, for the first time in 3 months, has now gotten out of bed and is walking because of Sirloin. Because Sirloin has given him so much laughter and smiles and euphoria and desire to live, he has gotten out of bed and is now walking around with a smile. That's the spirit of this channel. It's always been the spirit of this channel. There's been a lot of similar stories like that. And I'm so excited for the real Chatster and his father. So with that, understand this channel is about love. It's not about someone coming in here and trash talking other viewers. It's not someone coming in here and saying, "It's freedom of expression. I can say that you're going to go to the guillotines." No, we're not going to the guillotines. Thank you. So understand, if you do see that element of negativity, push back. Because for everyone that breeds that element of negativity, if you stop it, for every time we stop that negativity, we bring positivity to someone else, like the real Chatster's father. And with that, thank you for joining me on this early morning's broadcast. I look forward to seeing you next on Mornings LA. But stay on this video, it'll take you automatically into overnight's crypto currently playing on this channel. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you to hit that subscribe button. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused, stay informed, really informed this week, because trust me, it's going to be one of those weeks where people get very uninformed. And stay with LA.